Hello and welcome to the MAC weather page for this Tuesday, October 25th, and we got a pretty busy forecast period coming up. If we look at the headlines, we'll have two significant systems that will bring us quite a bit of moisture here over the next 5 days. The first one will begin late tonight across the area, and it'll spread both of these systems around a half to 3/4 of an inch, and we could see locally over an inch. And we expect some pretty gusty winds on Wednesday, are up around 25-30 miles per hour, making it for just a nasty day out there. Looks like the heaviest rain will fall from Wednesday afternoon through late Wednesday night. And again, many areas picking up a half to 3/4, locally over an inch. So when we're all said and done, I think by the time we get through the weekend, we could be looking at many areas picking up an inch to an inch and a half of rain or so as it looks right now. We could also see some wet snow mixed in, and we'll show you some maps on that in just a few minutes. If we look at the normals for the day, our normal high is 56, the normal low is 36. And if we look at conditions around the area yesterday, you can see October is still running 6.1 degrees above normal, so it's been a very, very warm month. And if we look at conditions, yesterday's low was 34 in Newaygo, the high was down in Jasper at 58, and London picked up to about 0.12 of an inch. Again, temperatures mainly in the mid-50s across the area yesterday. If we look at the nation, our highest temperature yesterday was 95 degrees at McAllen, Texas, and the lowest temperature was 17 degrees at Mount Washington, Vermont, or New Hampshire, excuse me. And if we look at the conditions around the area this morning, very chilly out there. You can see temperatures mainly in the 30s, down to 31 degrees at Clarksville, so below freezing there. Lots of frost, no doubt, out across the area this morning. If we look at the wind flow map, you can see fairly light winds here across the state this morning. And you can see our next weather maker that'll be coming in for the west. You can see the inflow to that system is pretty impressive. So as that system moves east, we can expect a pretty good chance of rain moving in. On the satellite view, you can see that system off to our west. It'll be moving pretty much right into the northern Ohio Valley. Right now, we expect that system to move from Iowa into northern Indiana or Ohio. And that, if this was a month from now, we'd be talking about snow advisories and maybe even winter storm watches. But right now, I think we'll see a very cold rain across much of the MAC area. And then we'll have another system behind that after we get about a day break as we get into late Thursday into Friday before the next rain moves in Friday night. If we look at the soil conditions around the area, mainly as we look at surface moistures, not too bad at the 2-inch level here in Breckenridge, but it's pretty wet across the area, as we have had a couple of trucks getting stuck yesterday, and I'm afraid with this rain we could be shut down through the weekend before without turning much in the way of any wheels here in many areas, as we do expect quite a bit of rainfall and it's not going to dry up much. If we look at the radar across the U.S., you can see our weather maker out here producing rain across the Dakotas, and again for us high and dry right now, and we expect another nice day today. On the weather map this morning, you can see low pressure system emerging out of the Rockies. It's going to head towards Iowa and then move to the east-northeast across the northern Ohio Valley. You can see some areas of flash flood potential off to our west. And if we look at the weather map by tomorrow morning, by Wednesday morning, that low pressure system now will be setting across northwest Ohio, spreading lots of rain across the area throughout the day and into the night. We get a short break and then our next system already on the move. And if we look at the weather map as we get into, well, let's hopefully get this into Friday. As far as precipitation over the next 7 days, you can see, and this line here represents pretty much all three of the major models, the US, the Canadian, and the European model, all predict about an inch or more across much of this area, from Mount Holton Lake down to about I-94, maybe a little south of I-94. And again, looks like it's going to be a very, very soggy day. As far as precipitation depiction by the WPC, they have the heaviest rains across much of south central and southern lower Michigan, but still an inch or more all the way up towards the top of the lower peninsula. Again, some areas right here in Jackson or Adrian area is depicted around 2.5 inches of rain. So again, we're going to have a pretty good screeching halt to harvest here in about 24 hours. And if we, just for fun, although it's not fun, this is the Canadian model showing some of the potential snowfall. You can see over towards the Flint area or east of the Flint area. It even shows up to 2 inches of snow. I don't think that's going to happen, but don't be surprised to see if you see some snow mixed in with this system here. And even more impressive would be the WPC and what they show over the next 66 hours, up to 2 to 3 inches of snow as you get into areas like Cadillac, Tustin, Luther, Farwell, or towards Harrison again. So I think there's a good chance we're going to see some areas pick up definitely snow in the air, and wouldn't be surprised if you hear reports of snow on the grassy areas. So again, if you're up in this area and you do get some snow, I'd love to see some pictures of it. And if we look at the next slide here, you can see the Southern Oscillation Index. You can see our crash we had quite a ways back. Since then, we've pretty much neutralized. We're in a pretty progressive pattern, so we don't see any really cold air that would stick around. But the next time we see a significant crash, about a week to 12 days after that, we could really go into some pretty deep winter conditions. But again, we don't expect that to happen here for at least the next couple of weeks. But beyond that, things could change as we get towards the 15th of November. I think between the 15th and the 20th is when we may see some winter conditions really start to show up across the U.S., especially across the eastern areas. Thanks for stopping by, and have a great day, a great harvest, and 73s to all.